Hi, my name is Jenny. Welcome to my vlog where I talk about lifestyle, um, motherhood, being a first time parent. If you like that kind of stuff, stay tuned, subscribe, like my stuff, comment. Let's be friends. So, today we are going to talk about pumping essentials. These are a list of items that you're absolutely going to need during your pumping journey. Um, the way I came up with this list was I was a first time mom and I actually did not even know what a pump was. And I learned the hard way, but hopefully, this list will help you and you won't be in my position of like figuring things out as you go and just making a lot of rookie mistakes. So, this is going to be a very useful list. And before we get to that, a little background on me. I am a first time mom. I have a daughter. She is currently over a year and a half. And I actually stopped pumping about a year ago. But you never forget. At least me, it feels like just yesterday. I remember everything I went through. I remember everything I used. I actually have some of those items with me right here to help you better understand what you're going to be needing and using throughout this journey. If you're watching this video, you're probably interested in learning about what you're going to need during your pumping journey, or maybe you are pumping and you are trying to get a hang of like what other items you're going to be needing, or what you're lacking, or what can better help your situation, or maybe you're just trying to get some insight on like what it's like to be on a pumping journey. So the reason I started exclusively pumping after 2.5 months was because I started working. I had a full-time job, so I was a full-time working mom. Whatever the case may be for you, whether you're going to be alternating breastfeeding and pumping, or you're going to switch to just pumping exclusively, this stuff is going to help you. When I had my daughter, I actually didn't even know what a pump was. I was just learning as I went. I didn't have any mom friends that I only had like one friend that told me what a pump was, but that's as far as it went. We never talked further about like the details and what it like took to even like start a pumping journey. So in the hospital, there was like a medical grade pump right next to me. And, you know, the doctors and nurses encouraged me to use it whenever, you know, like I was really full and like, I don't know, maybe the baby wasn't around or she was like asleep or something. But I did not know what I was looking at. And silly me, like I don't know, there was a lot going on at the time. And, you know, like when you have a new baby and you have a C-section, like, you know, your mind is just busy dealing with other things that, I don't know, it never occurred to me to ask, like, how do I use this? What is it? And how often should I use it? And all of that. I did not learn any of that. I just learned pure breastfeeding and that was it. So by the time I was home, I was sent home with manual pumps that the hospital provided. And I used them maybe a total of 3 times because I was like exclusively breastfeeding because I had no other choice. And I didn't know anything about storing and none of that. So anyways, yeah, manual pumps are very difficult to use. They're very exhausting on the, you know, on your hands. Like there's only so fast that you can go, if that makes sense. So eventually I solicited a pump through my insurance. So my pump was fully covered at the time. I was researching like pumps to buy because like it was really difficult to get a hold of my insurance. So between everything that was going on, so I was looking into buying a pump, and again, I didn't know what I was looking for. So everything was like $200 and up, and I just did not want to pay $200 for a pump. So luckily my insurance covered a pump for me. That's something I would do if I were you guys. Check and see if you qualify for one. Typically you do because you're a mom and you know it's a necessity, and whether you're not fully covered, maybe you can give a certain amount of copay, and if you don't have insurance and all of that, then there are pumps out there that range between $60 to 180, 200. There's some for 500. It's crazy. And I even found one that costs $3,500. I did some research, and honestly, like, there's not much that it does other than show you digitally like the battery life and the flow, and it's supposed to mimic like a baby, the flow that a baby produces on their end. So I don't know, that was crazy. I was on maternity leave for about 3 months, and I had 2 weeks left until I was going to go back to work, and I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. My baby had never really drank off a bottle, so it was a very terrifying moment for me. So anyways, so when I got my pump, my insurance had asked me, you know, which pump I wanted, and they gave me a list. The only brand I recognized was Medela. So again, since I was in a rush, I just picked Medela without even like doing my research, and it's a well-known brand. So the first item you are going to need is a pump, and this is the one I got, provided by my insurance. Okay, Medela. So what I love about it is that it is so discreet. Nobody wants to walk around with like something that's like obviously a pump. So this was my favorite part about it. This is the Medela Pump In Style Advanced Starter Set. I will provide that in the description below, but honestly, with the research I did, this pump ranges from $50 to $110, depending on where you get it from. I couldn't really find like direct suppliers. It looks like this one might just be provided by insurance companies, but there are other ones that come with a backpack and like totes and stuff like that, but this one just came with this. I don't have the parts anymore. I've just had this stored for like about a year, but this is just to give you an idea. This is what it looks like. That's it. It comes with tubing and like everything else, but it's pretty small, it's pretty compact. You can either be attached to the wall, which was not my favorite. It was actually, you know, very restraining, and this thing is so heavy that like I wouldn't even move because I was scared that it was gonna like come off. Not that like anything major happens if it turns off, but it's just annoying. Luckily, it comes with a portable option. So this is, it still has batteries. So you can just insert, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe it's 8 batteries that you need for this thing. Yeah, it needs 8 batteries, which is an insane amount. Batteries are expensive, but honestly, they last a good amount of time. They don't run out quickly because you only use it for, I don't know, whatever time you need. If I had to rate it from a 1 through 5, I would probably give it 4 stars, and the reason why it's missing that 1 star is because it's quite noisy, and if you're pumping at 4 in the morning next to your partner or your baby, there is a possibility that they will wake up, but it's not like that noisy. But it's not quiet either. Like, I would wrap it up every time under my quilt because I was like, oh my god, it's not a quiet pump. So pumps range from, like I said, $40 to like $500. There are silent ones. Those are the expensive ones. If you can afford it and are not a fan of noise, I would invest in one of those. If you like the bare minimum and what I just showed you, that is the Medela Pump In Style Advanced Starter Set, and it can range from $50 to $110. So the next thing you're gonna need is a nursing bra or a pump bra or both. I never invested in a pump bra. I'm not sure why. I was very stingy with my money because with a newborn, you spend a lot of money, like, you know, and honestly, like at the time, I would just get, and honestly, at the time, I would just get nursing bras and I would get the cheapest ones like at Walmart. I don't like spending a lot of money on something that's temporary. So, I mean, if I had to do this again, I would definitely invest on a pump bra, the ones that have the slits in between, because I spent I spent all of my pumping times like this. Like I would hold the tubes all the times, and it was like, I don't know, like I was not hands-free. And I feel like, you know, if you're pumping and, you know, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, you could be doing other things while that's going on, like watching videos on your phone or like, I don't know. So I would definitely invest on a pumping bra. Pumping bras are usually both in one. But if you don't want to buy a pumping bra, just get a nursing bra, because you don't want to be doing this whole fiasco every time, especially if you're on the go. So I would highly suggest a nursing bra if you're going to pump. You're going to need breast pads for sure. In general, if you're producing breast milk, you're gonna leak throughout the day, and breast pads saved my life. They were my best friends. I lived in them for months. They have Medela breast pads, and they have, I never know how to say this brand, Lancinol. That's a very popular one. And the breast pads, they range from $7 to $14 depending on how many you get in a box. So you're definitely gonna need those. You're gonna need multiple pump bottles. The Medela pump comes with two that you pump into, and I stayed with those two for a while, and it became an extra task for me. When you have a new baby, you don't have time for anything, let alone washing the same pumping bottles over and over and over and over again. So after a while, I ended up buying a set of 6 more, which was like $13 for the Medela pump bottles. And they were such a good investment because I used them for storing breast milk in the fridge, and there was 6 of them. And I also like alternated them. Like if some of them were dirty, I had clean ones waiting for me. I didn't have to like wash them right away every single time. So definitely multiple pump bottles. Trust me, it's gonna save you so much time. Multiple baby bottles. Avent is my favorite bottle company. I haven't used any other one. I'm sure there's a lot of great ones out there, but I don't know. It does what it needs to do. It's long lasting. I have yet to have any issues with them, and she's like a year and a half. So these are my favorite. I had about 8 of these. The reason you need multiple is the same thing. I think I started off with like 4, and that wasn't enough. Like when they're that little, they eat so often. So you're gonna need a lot, because if not, you're gonna spend a lot of time washing and getting up, and it's crazy. So when you have 8 of them just sitting there waiting for you, and like you're ready to like feed the baby, you just grab and boop. So invest in a bunch of these. They're not like super cheap, but I know they have like cheaper options out there. Bottles are bottles. Invest in the right nipples for your baby bottles. You do not want to be feeding your baby newborn nipple when they're like 6 months. So always make sure you look at the amount of holes and what time frame they're what age they're for. I think the last option is like the VeriFlow, which is the biggest like little slit in this. The newborn one only comes with one tiny little hole, and you want to change that up every 3 months or every 2 months as they're growing. So make sure you always buy the right age. It says it in the little packaging, how many months and all of that. So I would always pay attention to this. You don't want to frustrate a little baby not getting enough milk. So you're gonna need milk storage bags. I honestly did not use them that much because I wasn't producing so much that I had to store like weeks worth of milk, but they did save my life. And what I mean by that is I had a few stored in my like backpack, I had a few stored in my car and just lying around. And the reason they saved my life was because one time I was pumping in my car and I realized that I did not pack my the little Medela pump bottles that you pump into, and I was panicking like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Like, I had to pump. If I didn't, I would probably like just died of pain. So I realized that I had milk storage bags in my car, and those worked perfectly fine for pumping. You just put them under the like pump applicator and you pump it right into them, you close them and you store them in your on-the-go bag and you're good to go. So I recommend you at least own one box of those and just like keep them everywhere. Keep some in your car, keep some in your purse, just have them there just in case. And if you're gonna be one of those moms that store like weeks worth of milk, then you're gonna be needing them like every day. If you're like me, that you like pumped every single day for that day and the next, then you're not gonna need them that often because you have 6 bottles to pump into. You're gonna need a bottle cleaning brush for sure. So my favorite is the Avent cleaning brush. It looks like this. A lot of moms like the round Dr. something brush. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out on the name. But this is my favorite brush because the bristles are so soft. They're not like the kinds that fall off or anything. I just got this one. I used to have like a pink one, but I replaced it recently, and honestly, like, it's so long lasting. Like it's intact and I use it every single day. This is definitely my favorite combination right here. This brush is so good with like dish soap. It like just foams instantly. I don't know, it's my preferred. If you like the rounder ones, you can just opt out for that, but you're definitely gonna need a cleaning brush. You're gonna wash a lot of bottles when you pump, a lot. You gotta keep everything clean. You're gonna do a lot of cleaning. You're gonna wash the parts of the pump. You have to wash the applicators, everything, every day. And when they're small, you're probably gonna have to be sterilizing those parts every day as well, or multiple times a day. So just a little heads up there. You're gonna need dish soap. I don't know, that's what I use. I don't know if there's like other things out there that are better for baby bottles, but dish soap is fine. Hot water, use that brush, get in there, and you're good to go. The bottle stays squeaky clean. And yeah, so that is definitely something you're gonna need because, like I said, lots of washing that's gonna happen. You don't absolutely need this just because it's expensive, and there are other ways to sterilize bottles. But luckily we were gifted a sterilizer. I think it was like $100 and something. They are expensive, so again, you don't need it. But if you can't afford it, I mean, it makes your life so much easier. The one we had, I'm blanking out on the name, but I'll put it right here. So this was gifted to us, and honestly, like, it was so easy. You just stack everything in it. It like steams up. It like dries up as well, very hot, and everything comes out squeaky clean. I would recommend you wash the bottles first and then you use the sterilizer. And make sure you put all the parts, your pumping parts, in there as well after you wash them. The little applicators, everything, because trust me, they accumulate milk. So you want everything to be clean so nothing is like molded or rotten. And remember, this is going into your baby's mouth. So bottle drying rack. This is you're gonna need this for sure, but again, you can use another method. You can place your bottles on a towel if you need to, but this was very beneficial for me. That is what held all of my pumping bottles, all of my baby bottles, everything was just waiting for me, and I would just grab it and do what I had to do. Okay, so you're gonna need a fridge for sure. Hopefully, I would hope that you have one. You're gonna need a fridge because that's how you store breast milk. Just think of milk, but breast milk expires faster, like way faster. So you're either gonna freeze it if you want it to last longer, or you're gonna keep it in the fridge for like a day or two, and just, you know, provide it to your baby. Also, for on the go, you're gonna need like some form of cooler or lunchbox. This is what I used to go to work every single day. This carried my pumping bottles and the little caps they come with, and it carried about 2 ice packs that kept this cold all day up until I came home. So what would happen is I would bring the empty bottles in here, I would pump into them and store them in here, and with the cooling packs, I would store them in between those two, and the milk would stay cold all day. So this was very beneficial. I got it on Amazon. I don't remember the price, but the reason I got it in this color was, again, I was trying to be as incognito as possible with all my items. As you can see, I didn't want a soul knowing what was going on, and that's how it was. No one really knew that I was pumping at work, well, in my car or anything. Like, no one had any idea. That little cooler was like my best friend when I would go to work, or if I would go out, I would just carry it with me, and it was like my portable little fridge, so for pumping on the go. So I would definitely invest in something like that, a lunchbox, anything that can keep your stuff cold. As I mentioned, you're gonna need freeze bags for your cooler on the go, or like a freeze like ice pack. I'll put a picture here of what I'm talking about. I don't have it here because it's in the freezer. So you're also gonna need a tote bag or a backpack. What I used was a JanSport. It's quite dirty because it's been collecting dust in our closet. But this was my best friend throughout the whole journey. So this backpack would carry my pump. It would carry, it would actually carry a lot of things that are on this list. So this backpack would carry my pump and all of the cables that it comes with. It would also carry everything else that I'm gonna mention below. So I would carry my pump in here every day. I would leave the house and carry my backpack. Again, I was trying to be super incognito at work, and what more than a JanSport, right? Yeah, you can use other things. You can use a black tote or any color tote you want. Anything just to carry your items. It's not even about like hiding the fact that you're pumping, but if you are not concerned about hiding stuff, you can carry whatever you want. Whatever is big enough to carry your essential items, that's all that the big bag is for. It's not to be all secretive or anything. But that was my best friend on my way to work. So you're gonna need burp cloths, and for on the go, believe it or not, pumping is very messy. You know, sometimes there were a few times that I would pump, and like when I was on the go, like in between work and stuff, and I don't know, like I would place like the little bottles like on the side of my car, and somehow like I would spill a little bit here and there, or when you take off your pump, you know, there's leakage, and it's quite messy. It's not like an explosion or anything, but you're absolutely gonna need a burp cloth. And I did a lot of this after I would pump, because you don't want that bra to be moist or, you know, just dirty. So you're absolutely gonna need this. I would carry two because, like I said, accidents happen, spillage happens, and you might end up needing to clean more than you think. So definitely carry a bunch of these. It could be the big ones as well, but they are gonna save you. So yeah. Breastfeeding cover. Not a must have, not like an essential need, but honestly, like, I am very, very conservative and private about breastfeeding and pumping. So I had this very nice breastfeeding cover. I'll put it right here, but because I don't have it anymore. But an example, this is not it, but it was pretty much like, it was pretty much shaped like this. It's just like a loop, and you kind of, I would put it over me, and I would pump in the car like this, and I had like a very neutral color. I had like a striped blue one, but I would kind of just be like this and be on my phone while I was pumping, and nobody had any idea what was happening. So you can definitely find those online. Again, it's up to you. If you're on a budget, it's not a must have, but if you're breastfeeding, you might, own a breastfeeding cover anyway. So definitely my best friend. That was like one of the most used things I had, especially when you're like removing the pump. Like, there's no way of like not showing everything when you're like, because you remove it, then you gotta clean, and yeah, cover. Yeah, it's a lot of items, right? You're gonna need baby wipes. I'm assuming if you have a baby, you already have baby wipes. Carry a set for yourself because, again, pumping is quite messy. So I loved to use baby wipes to clean the things you put here. I would carry baby wipes just to clean the inside. It wasn't the most sanitary, like, extensive cleaning process, but it would clean them at least a little bit. Because when you take them off, there's drops everywhere. And instead of like dirtying your burp cloth, I would just take out a baby wipe and just clean them. And that's it. So these are good for anything. Spills in your car, messes. So yeah. You're also going to need to carry a small towel and possibly a small like bottle brush, or another one of like the ones I showed you earlier, the Avent baby brush, because one time I was in a hurry going to work and I grabbed 2 dirty pump bottles that I hadn't washed, and I told myself I'll just wash them at work. So sometimes you're gonna do some washing on the go, so the towel and the extra brush was beneficial for me. So I always knew that I can just go to a sink or a bathroom and wash the bottles that I grabbed and just pump right into them. So that is also a must-have. You always want to be equipped with extra stuff, with extra things. Trust me, it's gonna happen. And this is coming from somebody that worked Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and I had to pump, every 4 hours. And sometimes, you're in a hurry and not everything is clean, and you just, you gotta grab what you have, and it's not like you can just skip out on pumping like on one day, because you are gonna get full and you're gonna be in pain. So it's like you have to pump anyways. So yeah. Okay, so you're gonna need an undershirt. This could be a tank top, or some sort. You want this undershirt to be the one to take the hit. So again, like I said, pumping can be messy, so there's gonna be leakage, there's gonna be spills, so you want this undershirt to be the one with the stains and stuff. Trust me, I've only worn a t-shirt once and there was like watermarks around, well, breast milk marks, and I had nothing else. So always wear something underneath, and wear your main shirt over that, or carry like an extra shirt or whatever you need to get to make this like as seamless as possible. Also wear proper tops For me, I worked in an office 9 to 5, so I had to play the part and dress decent. So, there was one time that I wore a blouse that was like kind of stiff and like ironed and everything. And when I kept it up like this while I was pumping, the wrinkles that happened up here, it was like nowhere else, just here, just lines of wrinkles. And I was like, wow. So, not that like anybody really noticed, but I was kind of like very self-conscious on that, and so you don't want that accident to happen. So make sure you wear something that's like not too like stiff or like hard, or just wear a proper top for if you're planning on pumping that day and you don't want it to be difficult. The last thing I'm going to mention is not an essential item at all, but it did help me out a lot. Again, I wanted this whole process to be kind of incognito because I worked full time and I wanted to balance work life and mom life and all of that. So anyways, my favorite place to pump was my car, but I was in the city, in public, parked in public. So I ended up getting tints for my car, like almost the darkest kind, but just dark enough that like people can't really see what's going on inside. And honestly, that made me so comfortable because I would just go into my car, put my cover on and listen to music or be on my phone, and like nobody even like would look inside my car because the windows were so dark. And I don't know, it kept me at ease. Again, if you're watching this, maybe you don't have a car or maybe you don't like tints, but it made me happy. So I mean, if you want to invest in tints and you're pumping in your car a lot, I would do it. Yeah, those are all the items you're gonna need. If I missed anything, or if you do something that makes your life easier, tell me about it. I would love to learn. I never know when I might be doing this again, so tell me about what made your experience easier, or your stories on like your journey and how you did it, how you went about it. Everybody's story is different. Some people stay at home, some people are on the go constantly, and some people are not afraid to pump in bathrooms. I've seen pictures of that. So share your stories with me, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.